Welcome back. It's early September, but we want you to know there's a change coming related to tax filing season. CLA tax principal and CPA Charlie Heid is here to explain. Charlie, welcome. Always good to have you in here. What kind of changes are we talking about?
So typically we've always had the opening of tax filing season the last week of January. And that's when everybody, the early filers, who know they have refunds coming, they file then. And last year was about $13.2 million.
That's surprising to me because I don't even get all my documents sent to me until almost middle of February, I wouldn't think.
Well, and so these are people that have a W-2,
Sure.
and they get those usually in mid-January, and boom, they're off they go. But what's interesting is, so Billy Long, who is the former commissioner, he was just appointed, and the Senate, approved him. He was only in office for less than a month, but in an interview, he indicated it would be February 16th that the filing season might open. So we're dealing with whether it's end of January or the filing season gets shortened by 2 or 3 weeks. You need to start thinking about, it's time to start thinking about what can I do to...
Well, either way, it wouldn't matter because you just get your stuff together, get everything filled out, and you're ready to send. So when the date comes up, boom, you send it.
Yeah, but the issue is right now is a good time to take an idea of what do I need to pull together, because you might have an opportunity now to reduce your taxes come April, or if you had like last year's, I would start with last year's return. Did I owe? Or did I have a refund? If I owed, how did I feel back in April when I had to cut that check? It's kind of an unpleasant surprise. So maybe today I look at that and say, I'm going to be similar. Why don't I increase my W-2 withholding? So now's a good time to look at your withholding year to date and see, do I need to make changes? Maybe I had a new baby came into my family during the year. I've got the child tax credit that I will have coming up. So I can go ahead and put that in to, W-2 changes. Bought a house, but again, the biggest one I always hear from people is I owed, and it caught me by surprise. Okay, well now's the time to look at your investment income, look at other types of income, and then decide, hey, do I need to ask my employer to withhold more? Because I have 4 months to spread that out and have more withheld. If I'm having this discussion with a client the last week of December, there's not enough time to change withholding.
The big beautiful bill had a big tax cut for Americans.
It did.
And especially on Social Security, other things like that. What impact are you expecting to see with that this year? So
for 2025, there are definitely some items that will impact people for 25. For example, tip income will be, up to a certain amount will be tax-free. Overtime pay, all hit in 25. There are a number of items for 26 that won't come into play until 2026, but the big ones for 25 will be tip income, overtime, the senior deduction, which is that additional $6,000. That each person, as long as you're over 65, you're going to get an additional $6,000 deduction, and that starts now.
That's a permanent change? It's not temporary like the last time?
That's permanent. This bill, when it passed, is not sunset.
It is probably always a good idea to keep track of your materials. I know we've been doing this for years. My wife and I, we have a file in there for,
That's great.
2025, 2026, and so forth, and keep our materials all together. So when we get all the materials together, I can track from previous year what I'm lacking and track it down, get it, we're ready to go, but then get it to my attorney, my accountant. But still, it's always good to take a look, not just at what you did last year, but also to this year and keep everything at finger's notice.
Now's the time to start pulling together. I do the same thing. I set up an envelope at the beginning of the year, one of those big, folders, and I mark it 2025. And as I make charitable donations, throw it in there. As I make estimated tax payments, throw that stuff in there. So come the end of the year, I'm not scrambling to go back and go through my checkbook, go through my bank account, to figure out what I did that might have a tax implication. just put it in the folder and set it aside, and at the end of the year, I'm pulling everything out I need.
Refresh everyone with the charitable donations and how that all works now, the standard deduction and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so for right now, for 2025, standard deduction, you get no charitable donation. It's kind of built into that standard deduction. If you itemize, you can take charitable donations. And what I would encourage people to think about is, come 2026, there's a new limit that will hit itemizers. So 25 is a great year to put more into charitable, because you avoid this new limitation that's going to come into play in 2026.
It is so great to have people like you that know the answers to all these questions, because then people like myself have someone to come to for all of their tax needs.
Again, tax law, it's getting very complicated.
Oh.
If you can do it, I would highly recommend that you get a professional to help you with your taxes.
Maybe save you some money too.
Yep.
Charlie, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.